Hello everyone, in this video today we are going to be looking at the reasons why a lot of commercial plantain farmers are not producing quality bunches of plantain. We are going to be looking at their challenges and the factors that have been limiting them from achieving their goals when it comes to commercial plantain farming. The whole essence of setting up your commercial farm is to have quality bunches at the end of the day, bunches that would compete vigorously at any market level. But what we have most of the time is that commercial plantain farmers grow their plantains, and at the end of the day, they are not able to compete at the open market. Even they are not even able to compete because the quality of their yield is very poor and the bunches are extremely small. So I am going to be showing you reasons why you have not been achieving this as a goal at your field location. We are going to be showing you reasons why you have not been achieving stuff like this at your end. We are going to be showing you the reasons why it has been a bit challenging for you to achieve very quality yield at that your commercial plantain field. So let's dive in and look at all the reasons or factors why you have not been achieving success at that your field location. Let's talk about the number one factor why you are not getting quality yield from that your commercial plantain field. The number one factor is the soil type you have chosen to cultivate your plantains in. You need to know this. For your plantains to thrive, the soil you are using to cultivate your plantain has to be a well-drained soil. Let me explain. When we say well-drained, it simply means that you must cultivate your plantains in soils that do not get waterlogged. There are certain soils that might be so well-drained, you won't even know they are waterlogged soils during the dry season, and then when it rains, everywhere gets waterlogged and it stays there for over 3-4 days. Sometimes it could even go for weeks before that same water drains out. If you are growing your plantains in such soil type, then you would not get quality yield from that field. Another thing you must consider is the nutrient level of the soil. Nutrient is just basically the food your plantains feed on. You want to ensure that the nutrient level, especially your major nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, are at its optimum. So you want to ensure that that field that you are planning to grow that your plantains in, or that you have started growing that your plantains in, has all these nutrients, major nutrients, at its optimum. And if the nutrients are not at their optimum, what you need to do is to ensure that you get this right soil amendment to apply to that your soil in order to improve the nutrient level that would ensure that your plants grow vigorously, robustly, and eventually will give you quality yield at the end of the day. So you have to ensure you get the first factor right, which is the foundation of every other thing that we are going to be looking into on this particular video. You need to know this: just having the right soil and the right nutrient level alone doesn't guarantee quality yield at the end of the day. Mind you, plantains are water lovers, but they do not love a land that is waterlogged. So you don't ever get this confused at any point of you cultivating your plantains. They love water, but they do not want a land that is waterlogged, and that is why that land has to be well drained. So after you've gotten a well drained land, you now have also the nutrient level of that land at its optimum. You have to ensure that that soil is moist enough so that your plantains will have access to the nutrient available in that soil. Now let me explain. For your plants or your plantains or any crop at all to have access to the nutrient available in the soil, that soil has to be moist in order for that nutrient to be transferred into the plant. Okay, so but we're not going into plant biology right now, but just have that at the back of your mind. Your soil has to be moist in order for all of those nutrients available in the soil to be available to your plant. So if you are newly starting your production, say towards the drought season, and your field is not properly well established, then you have to make provision for irrigation, because what will happen is during that period of drought, your plant will not have access to nutrients, and for that reason it will make that your plantain get stunted. And when it is stunted, no matter what you then provide for that plant later on, it will not grow more than the stunted height it has grown. This is it. A stunted plant would always produce a stunted bunch. So you have to ensure that you are avoiding everything that will make your plant get stunted during its growth phases. Another thing you want to avoid as much as you can is pests and diseases. Plantains could be susceptible to pests and diseases, and that is why you have to be very, very thorough when selecting the variety to cultivate. Ensure you are cultivating a variety that is resistant to fungi and bacterial diseases that affect plantain. Make sure you are getting the right variety, and also make sure your field management is top notch. You have to routinely manage your field. You have to routinely treat for fungi. You have to routinely treat for bacteria. You have to also routinely treat against insect infestation on your field, because insects are attracted to the succulent part of that your plantain, and you don't want insects eating up your plantain leaves, which is the major source of their food, because through these leaves they undergo photosynthesis, and you do not want a situation where insects are infesting on the leaves, thereby depleting the ability to photosynthesize, which will then reduce the food they are able to produce through the sunlight. So you want to ensure that at every point in time you are treating against fungi, bacteria, insect, and this has to be routine. You don't have to wait until you begin to see signs of infestation before you begin to treat. So make sure you have the monthly routine plan that you carry out in order to manage your field properly and ensure that insects, diseases do not infest your field, because they will reduce greatly the yield potential of that your commercial plantain field. Another reason why your plants are not producing quality bunches. Now you've gotten every other thing right. You've ensured that diseases do not infest your field. You've ensured that you got the right quality sucker and the right variety so as to be resistant to some diseases that they could be resistant to. Mind you, when you do not manage your field, irrespective of how improved variety you must have cultivated, they have tendency insect and fungi infestation if you refuse to manage your field. So another thing that you must pay critical attention to if you must get quality results is the planting techniques you choose to employ when setting up your field. There are a whole lot of factors that you consider. The number one is the variety of the suckers you want to grow. There are some suckers that you grow and then they, occupy a lot of space. They are they grow so vigorously and so big. So when you are cultivating such variety of sucker, then you have to be very mindful of the spacing that you choose to cultivate. But then if you are cultivating the elephant giant variety, they grow medium sized. As you can see, they do not grow so tall, and they do not occupy spaces like some couple of other varieties that you have out there. So if you are cultivating an elephant giant variety, you have to ensure that you are using the right planting technique. Now, part of the technique you have to consider is the plant spacing. The plant spacing is very critical, because that would ensure that you are not having congestions on your field, and you are also having the right plant population on your field. So we recommend, especially if you are growing elephant giant variety, use the 2 meter by 2 meter plant spacing, which will ensure that you are getting very good population from 1 acre. All right, you are having over 1,000 suckers from 1 acre of land, and it will also ensure that you do not have congestion on your field. The spacing we used for this field was 2 meter by 2 meter plant spacing. What that means is that from one plant to another, from this plant to this one here, the distance from one plant to another is 2 meters. Then the distance from this plant now to that one is also 2 meters. So that is what we mean by plant spacing. You have to ensure that the technique you are using will allow for air circulation, will allow for sunlight or sun rays penetration into the field, so as to ensure that your field thrive and grow vigorously, so as to give you quality bunches at the end of the day. Another factor to consider when cultivating your plantain, this factor is very critical, is the region, the climate condition of the region you are growing your plantain in. Plantains are tropical plants. What that means is that they require a lot of sunlight duration per day, okay, in order to thrive. So if you stay in a region where you do not have enough sunlight duration per day, you do not have sunlight duration over 6 hours per day, then do not grow plantain in such location because they will not do well. And also, if you are growing your plantains in a very shaded area, probably you have very tall trees, and then you are beginning to grow your plantains beneath those places, your plantains will not do well because they need a lot of sunlight. They need over 7 hours of sunlight every single day in order for them to thrive. Also, if you have an oil palm field that is already established, please do not plant plantains beneath the oil palm field because enough sunlight ray will not get to that your plantain. And if they do not get enough sunlight rays, they ain't going to do well. And if they don't do well, the bunches will be small. So there's no magic to it. So you either do it right or you do it right. So ensure that the climate condition of where you are growing your field is tropical and there is enough sun rays getting down to your plantain. Even if you are growing your plantains in a very tropical region, you must also ensure there are no shades or trees that form canopy above the plantains because it will prevent them from producing quality yield. They will not grow vigorously, one, and if they do not grow vigorously, their bunches are going to be very, very tiny. So you have to ensure that all these factors are looked into while you are setting up your commercial plantain field. I want us to talk about the variety of plantains you eventually choose to grow. This has very great impact on the yield you get at the end of the day. Just the same way a rat cannot give birth to a cat, if you do not cultivate the right variety of suckers, you are not going to get the right yield. Let's say every other factor is right, but the only variable factor here is your plantain sucker. So if you are not growing the right plantain sucker variety, then you would at the end of the day not get quality yield. And that is why it is very, very critical, especially if you are growing your plantains for commercial purposes, then you must ensure that you are growing the right variety. And that is why we always emphasize the need for you to get your improved plantain suckers from us at Chidav Agricultural Hub. If you want to go on a commercial scale, please do not make the mistake of getting bad variety of plantain suckers that you then eventually cultivate and then you ain't getting the right result or yield at the end of the day. Commercial means for the market, and you want bunches that will stand better chance at the open market or any market at all. So you want to be getting those your suckers from none other than us at Chidav Agricultural Hub. And this is it. We supply nationwide. And also, if you are not in Nigeria, you are outside Nigeria, we can also work with the shipping agents and see how we can have this supplied to you at that your location. So ensure you are getting quality, improved suckers from none other than we at Chidav Agricultural Hub. And we will be more than happy to get you established the right way. The next thing people get so wrong after they have been able to get other factors very correctly is the last and very, very critical factor, which is the management of their field. You can have the best field setup, you can have the best soil, the best nutrients, available in that soil. If you do not take this last phase very critical, then you are going to make a mess of all of your field. Plantains thrive well in a field that is properly managed. So you have to take your management game very seriously. You have to ensure that you manage your field very, very well. You have to prune as and when due. I cannot overemphasize the importance of pruning your plantain field. Now, this is a plantain plant, and this is what pruning does. A couple of you don't even understand that the leaves that are already about to die, that are turning yellow, the lower leaves which are already turning yellow, or a couple of them have even decayed or dead, still has a tendency of drawing a little bit of nutrient or energy from the plant. Those yellow ones cannot even carry out photosynthesis again, so at that point they are not even useful to the plant, but they still eat from the plant. The plant still transfers nutrient to them. So what you want to do at that point is you want to cut them off so that all the nutrient and all the energy of that plantain goes to the growing point of that plant. That is what you want to do. You want your plantain plants to focus all its energy on the growing part and the useful part of the plantain plant. And that is why you want to ensure that you prune as at when due, not just pruning. You want to also ensure that you take your field management very seriously, general field management very seriously, which pruning is one of them. Other things you have to ensure you do right is nutrient application. You have to ensure that you apply your nutrient, because this nutrient over the growing phases of your plantains deplete, because your plantains uptake this nutrient from the soil. So you have to ensure that you always replenish the nutrients that these plants are uptaking, so that at every point in time the nutrient level is optimum. That will ensure that your plants are growing robustly and they are growing vigorously. Another thing you have to ensure you do during your maintenance phases is you treat against fungi and insect infestation. Do not wait until you begin to see signs before you spring into action. It may have been too late at that point in time. So you need to have a routine management plan in place that ensures that you, on a monthly basis, carry out all these management practices. By so doing, you will at the end of the day grow plantain bunches that will compete at any market level, because the whole essence of having a commercial plantain farm is to make profit. And the only way you are going to make profit in plantain farming is when you grow quality, healthy, and very big plantain bunches. And the only way to doing that is by doing the right things during the growth phases of your plantain plant. Another thing I want to add is you need to be strategic during your planting. You have to be strategic. Plant during beginning of the rainy season. Don't plant towards the end of the rainy season. And then even if you want to plant towards the end of the rainy season, ensure that you are making irrigation available for your field. You want to, at every point in time, not allow your plantains to undergo water stress or drought stress due to absence of water. Ensure that you do all of these things and put every measure in place. And at the end of the day, you will be smiling to the bank. I can assure you that. So make sure you do it right, so that at the end of the day, you will get quality yield and make money. We have come to the end of this session, and it was really an amazing session. And I'm so happy that you will go and begin to cultivate or grow your plantains the right way, so as to get quality yield at the end of the day. The whole essence of why you are growing plantain is to make money, and you have to do things right. It will be so horrible after you have invested so much money in buying your plantain suckers, doing every other thing, and you fail to manage your field and get quality yield at the end of the day. So we want you to succeed at Chidav Agricultural Hub, and that is why we are sharing you with all of this very key important information that would help change your plantain game. It will change it totally. It will improve how you see this business and how you do this business. We want you to make money. We want you to make a lot of money. When you make money, we are happy, you are happy, and then the business is growing, the country is happy. You know, you're creating job and you're providing food security. That is the whole essence of why we do what we are doing. So make sure to place order for your suckers if you're still interested in getting very quality improved elephant giant variety suckers that we sell. Place your order, send a message to us on WhatsApp through the number appearing on your screen right about now, or you go to the description of this video, find our email and send us an email and place your order anywhere in Nigeria. We will have it supplied to you. So if this is your first time coming across this channel and you haven't punched on that subscribe button just yet, then you are wrong. Make sure you are punching on that subscribe button. Make sure you are also turning on your notification bell, so that anytime we have any new video, it is going to pop up and you go watch it and learn so very informative things that we share regularly on this channel. So for now, guys, it is time for we to draw the curtain. Bye for now, and remember to do agriculture right. Peace.